Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your storyteller, ready to take you on amazing journeys through different tales. How are you guys? Today's audiobook is Storms of My Grandchildren by James Hansen. Let's get started. In Storms of My Grandchildren, I share my journey as a climate scientist, revealing the dire consequences of climate change and the urgent need for action. This book is not just a scientific treatise, it is a call to arms for humanity to confront the impending catastrophe that looms over us. I used decades of research, personal experiences, and vivid stories to paint the picture of what's going on with climate change and the potential for recovery if we act quickly and decisively. I start by relating my experiences in the 1980s when I first became fully aware of the implications of emissions of greenhouse gases. I recall standing before the Congress and giving data that were pointing clearly to a rising trend in temperatures. My observations arrived with the alacrity of urgency. I felt this burden of responsibility squarely placed upon my shoulders as I pleaded for awareness and change. There is a context to writing this, having now in recent years witnessed a scientific community finally understanding the cataclysmic effect burning fossil fuels was having on this planet, yet still there was the albatross of political inertia. As I continued reading in the book, I am leading myself in contemplation of this self-reinforcing cycle of feedback that leads to climate change, melting ice sheets, rising sea levels, and changing weather patterns. I show how these phenomena are not threatening, over-the-horizon events, but actually the present realities that shape our lives at this very moment. I use examples such as hurricanes and droughts that already start cutting communities off from one another across the planet. It helps to humanize the results. It is harder to conceptualize abstract, long-term climatic changes than to picture your neighbors losing electricity during a snowstorm or a drought affecting water supplies. Intergenerational equity. I will be talking to my grandchildren and their children. What really inspires me is a deep sense of responsibility toward them to encourage the reader to think about the world we are leaving to the generations of the future. The sad reality is that if we continue on the path that we're on, it's not merely a planet that's less hospitable but perhaps even uninhabitable. With this full exposition of potential ecological collapse, I try to frame climate change as not merely an environmental issue, but rather a moral one. Through much of the book, I face challenges towards significant change, largely influenced by fossil fuel interests and the political apparatus that supports them. Misinformation and special interest pressure stifle the forward momentum of change, and this is contrasted through a side-by-side comparison of climate change denial in relation to previous scientific resistance. This theme of advocacy resonates deeply within me. I believe that knowledge must lead to action, and I challenge readers to recognize their role within this fight. But with it comes a vision of hope. I will be discussing the technological and scientific enterprises that will help us make a shift to renewable sources of energy and cut down carbon emissions. Innovation solutions will be presented, and the possibilities of a transition that gives answers not only to climate change but also economic benefits and wellness in public health will be stressed. That's why I feel comfort knowing that there are communities waking up to start doing something and show examples of what the grassroots movements look like. The last part of the book reflects on the need for systemic change, and policy is an important mover in the climate change battle. It will be clearly articulated that a comprehensive framework for carbon pricing and investment in clean energy needs to be made a responsibility which no doubt rests with governments and other institutions alike, and a pressing need to revisit priorities with the health of the planet and its inhabitants at center stage. To conclude, I stress this is a now or never moment. If we fail to act, the window will close and be of no further use. Hopefully, readers are reading and not absorbing what they read. The risks are heavy, and if we act, perhaps maybe, we might avert disaster through collective effort and tenacity. The appeal is very clear. We should act now for the sake of our children and grandchildren so that they may inherit a world worth living in. In Storms of My Grandchildren, I try to light the way forward, calling on all of us to take our place as Earth stewards. It's a call to be aware, but not just aware, a call for activism to remember that the decisions we make today will create waves through the ages of generations yet to come. The story is one of hope intertwined with urgency, testifying to both the power of knowledge and the necessity of action in the face of climate catastrophe. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe the Sonic Library for more audiobooks. I hope this story left you with something to think about. Stay tuned for more new videos.